Hello and welcome to Concrete Mountain Scrap More with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're here with a fun little traditional block that's called Spinning Flying Geese. Now, this almost looks like a spinning flower, you know, when you're finished, but it lends itself to having beautiful scrappiness going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun to sew up. But first, I want you guys to go check out Jayne at Poppy Patchwork. Her YouTube channel is a lot of fun. There's interesting things on there, and she's got a wonderful voice. So when you go check her out, and hopefully you like, share, and subscribe her, you tell her that Brenda from Concrete Mountain Scrap More sent you there, and you know it's kind of a fun little shout out that she's not expecting. So the other thing in the show notes below will also be her link, but will be our link for our Facebook group and our Zoom sew dates. Now, the Facebook group is growing rapidly. We have virtual rooms set up for you to guys to go sew with each other, and it's a lot of fun in there. It's kind of, you know, it's a 24/7, you know, 365 day a week sew date. But the Zoom link is there for the first Saturday of the month, starting at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. And it's the first Saturday, unless it's a stat holiday, then it's the next Saturday. But all the dates are listed in there until December. So you can, you know, write them on your calendar and plan ahead. So, without further ado, let's get sewing this Spinning Flying Geese. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, obviously, and what we're going to do first, we're going to make our 4 flying geese, right? So, our 4 flying geese are all going to come together like this. Right now, I only had 2.5 inch squares, and this is going to be assembled later. But so I only had 2.5 inch squares, right? So what I was going to do is I'm like, okay, and I had bricks of these already cut, so I'm not going to waste them. I'm just going to roll through them and make little, you know, flying geese at the end. Now, you line up your stitch, and you, like, I have folded these. Right, so I have a little ridge. Now you can also draw your line or whatever, that works too. But what you want to do is you just want to touch, you want to be sewing on this side of that ridge. You don't want to be on the ridge, you want to be beside the ridge. And that really helps with your flying geese, right? And because it's a flip and stitch method that we're using on this. Now, there's different methods. Everybody has their favorite method. I think you need to know all of the methods, because you never know what your scraps are going to deal with, right? So you need probably more than one method to make flying geese. If your scraps are big enough to make the 4 at a time or 2 at a time, that's perfect. But if you're not, or let's say you've got, you know, stuff that's already cut, and you're like, okay, how do I make this? Well, you're going to have to know a few different ways of doing it, right? So, now we can do the 4 at a time or 2 at a time method. I mean, entirely up to you what we're going to do. So, now, as you're doing them, okay, before you cut, you push this back, and you press it. No, I'm just finger pressing, right? So make sure that that covers before you cut anything. And when you cut, you know, you cut this, and then you run it through the machine, right? Or, well, we'll wait until we get the other one done. Okay, so then we go like this. Yes, we have good coverage. Everything's where it's supposed to be. All right. Okay, so now we can cut. Don't cut unless you've got good coverage, because if you haven't got good coverage, you're going to be short on that flying goose. Now the points are also on the outside of the block, so let's just take a better look. Yeah, that works. Okay. So now, when you want to sew your next part of your, the next part of this, you want to sew from the other side. There we go. Now, if you don't sew them all in the same direction, you're going to have diamonds instead of flying geese, right? So there you lay this down, and you approach from this angle, And you want to just be on this side of the line, because that's going to account for the fold in your cloth. There we go. I'm going to check this last one, make sure before I cut. Oh, nice. Okay. And lots of times, you know, if you're a little shy, you know, like we're talking like less than a 1/16 of an inch, right? You could probably get away with it. You can probably manage it. It'll be fine. Because it'll be in the seam allowance. Okay. There we go. There we go. 2 more. Okay. Now, when I do this, I would have a stack of them. I would get a stack of flying geese done. And then I would sew blocks. And I'd get another little stack of flying geese and I would sew blocks. Because this is all done by partial seam. And partial seam is, it's so simple, right? And people shy away from it because they're like, I don't understand how it goes together. Well, we're going to show you right now. Okay, so first off, okay, look, check, make sure you're not too short. You're not short. Yes, you're good. You're in good shape. Okay. So that now goes here on your block, right? So let's check another one. And these don't take long to check either. They're just, after a while you get really good at sewing on that seam or that line, that imaginary line. Sometimes you get so good you don't even have to draw the line or press the line or whatever. But if you're not comfortable and you need to draw the line, draw it by all means, draw the line. Okay. Now, we're going to get our foot changed, and I can run through a bunch of little triangles. There we go. Yeah, the flip and stitch ones are really good. You know, I know sometimes people get a little frustrated with all the, they're not wasted. They're not wasteful. Especially the way I do it. I mean, you're not wasting anything. There we go. I did find a really cute little floral. My scraps are a little bit overrun with florals right now, so I'm trying to use as many florals as I can. So some of it might look a little, you know, you end up being overrun with it. Well, you just gotta use it, you know. This is where you buy extra stuff to make it kind of work better. So again, let's check that last one before we run it through. Yes, it's perfect. Let's get that. Okay. Yeah, we're just running that one through as well. Okay. Here we go. So now, this is what you're looking at. Now this is not, partial seams is exactly what it means. It's a partial seam. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at one side of this. You're going to start here in the middle and pick up this block. But you're not going to go from here to here. You're only going to go about halfway, you know, from the top, halfway, and then stop. And you're going to there, stop, and then you go back, and you make your stitch, right? You make a little stay stitch, right? Because it's going to keep you in place. Now, these are, okay, let's get some of these popped open. Okay. I'll get all the dog ears off. There's something about dog ears. They're just, I don't know. They always end up in my stuffing box. Somebody was teasing me one day that I should start sewing these together like confetti, and I'm like, no. You know, like all the green ones, you know, pick all the green little dog ears out and sew them as under tulle so that they look like confetti, and I'm like, or leaves on a landscape, and I'm like, that's way too much work. That is so much work. Okay, now with pinwheels pressed to the dark, if you're going to do like a broken dish layout, I'll show you that in a sec, like this, you know, where you put your pointed stuff in and then your other stuff is out, you can do that. That's also a cute little block to work with, you know, just like this, right? Just like this little configuration. It's either, and they all nest. It all looks good. It all nests. It's all worth it. Okay. Let's get that done. And under. Okay. Now, with this, it's going to fit right back in here, right? Now, you're going to push this down just a bit, right? Just to keep it flat. And now you're going to take, now all the points are on the outside of the block, so it doesn't really matter which way you handle this. But if you want to make this point, you have to sew it with it being up. Otherwise, it's like, you know, you don't really know where this point is because you can't see it. So you kind of steer on the side of the goose. All right, so let's get more of this done. And I want another one of those? Yeah, sure, why not? They're cute. And we can make another little hourglass broken dish or whatever it's called. I don't, this thing has been called so many little names. But it's just a little tiny little 4-patch with your bonus triangle. Quite cute. There we go. And there we go. Now let's get the next one on. So now we're folding this out of the way, just like that. Okay, and now it goes down. Some people need to see it lay down because they need to know it goes back into place. So now you're going to sew along here, but you want to make that point. So you want to have it so it's tilting up. So basically your bigger piece is on the top, which is not the way most people were told how to sew, but it's the only way you're going to make that point perfect. Because that's the part of the block there that you probably need it perfect. And you want to be able to see where it is before you get there. And I think I'm in good shape. Okay. Now, one goes up. The other goes down. There we go. Let me put this all together. Nesting it's in the middle and nesting these. Okay. There we go. Okay, now last one goes just like that, right? Okay, so now there we go. In order to see this point, you're going to have it on top, and you get this out of the way. You move it, just pull it out of the way, right? Because you've got, the bigger the partial seam, the center seam is, the easier this is to do. But this is not impossible because you do have a good, you know, a good bit of room there. Okay, so now I'm going to do this, and just like so. And, okay, we're in good shape. I'm going to lose my point. There we go. And get the other little broken dish in. This goes up. That goes down. This goes over. There we go. You can get lots of little stuff out of these little scrappy blocks sometimes, and that's part of the orphan block challenge. I will be using these tiny little blocks in the orphan block challenge once they're squared up. And now the last seam is our first seam, right, that we started on, right? Because this is where we started, and we started right here. Well, now we're going to finish that seam. We're just going to press that out of the way, just a bit out of the way. And we want to see where that seam is, so we're going to, now we have a choice. Either we can start in the middle here, and go down, or we can go this way. And I think it's going to be easier for me to go this way. Okay, there. And now, let's give it a little, where's that? Yeah, we got good shape. That. There we go. And now, with that, I'm just going to pop these open, like so. Finger press them real quick. And we're going to get this off the sewing machine, and we're going to do our ta-da moment. So isn't this a cute spinning flying geese? I am sitting there looking at this. This is so adorable. It looks, to me, it kind of looks like a flower or kind of a windmill thing. I was just so pleased how this turned out. And you have to learn how to do like basic units like flying geese several different ways. Now in upcoming ones we'll show you how to do the 2 at a time and the 4 at a time. But I mean, if you're dealing with smaller scraps, you know, this might be the way you have to do it. And it's okay. I mean, what we did with our stitch and flips, I mean, is what we made was 2 cute little hourglass blocks, and they finish at 2 3/4. So I will be adding little strips around them to make them just a little bit bigger for an orphan block challenge that's coming up. So none of this gets wasted. None of your little sew and flips get wasted. Now if it was a 2-inch scale where this piece was, you know, a 2-inch square in the center instead of being a 2.5, yeah, you're starting to work with some pretty tiny pieces on your stitch and flips. But I hope you give this one a try. This was so much fun to sew up for you today. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead. This has been so much fun, our journey on quilting. So you take care until then. Okay, bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023. And it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people. Those monthly Zoom sew dates are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023, and we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.